Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Kyrielle and today we are doing a rather festive look. I decided to pick up the Bhcosmetics Nice palette. It totally drew me in through the pictures and I really wanted to give it a go, see what the formula is like, because I've only ever tried the Take Me Back to Brazil palette from Bhcosmetics, so I thought it'd be nice to try one of their smaller palettes, and the festiveness really pulled me in for this one. I picked this up from BEAUTYBAY and it originally retails for £10, but it's currently on sale from today's date, which is the 18th of November. They currently have their Black Friday sale on, so this is currently £6.95 with the sale. So if you're thinking about buying it, I'd suggest doing it now so you can get a little bit of a discount. Now at first, when I opened the package, I was a little shocked at the size, okay? I thought this was going to be a lot larger than what it actually is, and the pans are absolutely tiny. They're similar to the pans that are in the Take Me Back to Brazil palette, so if you're familiar with that, it's around that size. The actual colours in here are gorgeous. It completely drew me in. I know it's more of a neutrals palette. I was really drawn to the shade Jolly, which is actually like a sparkly red. I don't know, that just sold me on it. And instantly when I looked at the palette, I had like an idea of a look in mind, which is pretty much this. So I decided to take the plunge and pick it up and try it. So we're going to be concentrating on the eyes today, obviously, and I'll go through swatches and discuss the formula and everything like that throughout this video. If you are new and you enjoy makeup content, then why not subscribe? I do this all the time, every week. Getting into the holidays now, I'm going to be obsessed with sparkly things. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you're missing out if you don't subscribe, okay? Anyway, without further ado, let's get into some swatches of this palette first, and then I'll show you how I created this look right here. Alright, let's do some swatches. First up, we have Cider, Cinnamon, Holly, and Berry. That's the first row and it's all shimmers. Next we have Cookie, Elf, Jolly, and Bow. And that's the first two rows all together. Next for shades we have our Slay, Ginger Snap, Sprinkles, and Brandy. And then the final four we have our Snowball, Angel, Carolers, and Winter. And that's the final two shades of the palette. Okay, so I'm going to prime with my BARRYM All Night Long Concealer as per usual. This stuff really is a great eyeshadow primer. I know it is a concealer, but it dries down matte and I actually have trouble getting my eyeshadow off when I wear this. It's a really good concealer as an eye base. Found it doesn't crease or anything with this. It's great. So let's get into the eyeshadow. Clearly you can see I've done one eye already because I wanted to see where I was going with this look. I had an idea, but I thought I'd play around with it first. So I've gone for this kind of berry toned halo eye. I wanted it to really pop on the center of the lid. So the first shade I'm going to go into is the shade Brandy. It's this kind of deep plumish tone. I'm going to use this to start shaping out our cut crease. I keep this very rounded. I haven't really blown it out very much just because I always do that. So I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I'm going to start this with my eyes open, place the colour where I know my cut crease is going to begin, and then bring it towards the inner and outer corners. I'm keeping the height in the centre to make sure I get that rounded shape, and then I'm tapering it down. Now I have that colour down, I'm just going in with the same brush, but I just kind of wiped it off a little to get off any of the pigment. And I'm just going to buff around the edges just to slightly get a blend going before we go in with any other shades. I like to do that with these colours especially because purpley tones are typically harder to blend out, so just like to get a little bit of a blend going. Although to be fair, this shadow has blended quite well and I haven't really had a problem with blending it, but I just like to get the initial blend going. Now I'm going in with the shade Cookie and I'm going to go over top of the edges that we just blended and start creating that gradient. Doing tiny little circular motions to make sure I don't blend and drag the colour too high because I want to keep this a little bit smaller, a little bit more true to my actual eye shape. rather than, you know, blending it out and making it a little bit more of a dramatic look. I'm keeping this a little bit more small, you know. I just want a little bit more of the focus on the actual lid rather than the colour being blown out. So I'm just making sure to do little motions to keep it contained. Now I'm going in with the shade Beau, and I'm going to blend out the cookie shade. Again, just doing light circular motions. And taking the excess of the shade, and I'm just gonna bring it out just ever so slightly on the outer corner here, just because I think if I bring it down like that, it can look a little bit harsh. So I just like to feather just a little bit. It's not so much winging it out, it's just bringing the color out ever so slightly. I just feel like it helps the blend for one, also helps with the shape, I feel. So I am still keeping it rounded, I'm just pulling that roundness out a little bit more, if that makes any sense. Now I'm just going to go back in with the brandy shade and re-intense it a little bit more. What I like to do at this point is I put it just underneath where I originally placed the colour, and this just makes sure that I don't go too high, because you can always blend the colour up if you need more, but you can't really take away if you've added it there, you know. Now I'm going to go back in with the shade Cookie and Beau and just continue the gradient and make sure everything's blended. I also make sure that I step back, look at both eyes straight on so I can see if one's higher than the other on the blending side, and just to even myself out, because my eyes are two completely different shapes, so that's a necessity. Now I'm gonna cut my crease in the center, and then I'm gonna pat out the edges with my finger so it's already softened and I don't have a harsh line of concealer. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the shimmers, but I just want to talk about the mattes I've just used because they're really pigmented, they're really blendable. There's like zero kick up in the actual pan. The Cookie shade, there's like a little bit of kick up in the pan, but not a lot, and it doesn't really bother me. I've got no actual fallout on my face from the mattes. Now let's talk about the shimmers. Are like super duper duper crumbly. They are really soft to the touch and feel really good, but they are very chunky. I don't know if you can see that, but it just is. I would suggest doing your base makeup after doing your eyes with this palette. Maybe not all of them, but the ones that I have used were a little bit chunky, so just giving you a heads up. So I'm going in with the shade called Snowball, which is this gorgeous white blue reflect. It is so pretty, and I'm putting this all over the center of our cut crease to really get that shine and reflect. Now I am adding setting spray over the top of this. I just find it better when they're wet. Oh, look at that shade. Is that not stunning? But yeah, it is like so crumbly in the pan, but I don't mind too much if it looks like this good on the lid, you know. I would say as well, don't layer this too much because it can become quite chunky. I don't know if you're going to be able to see on this eye, but it did get a little bit chunky on the lid when I layered it a few times, so maybe just go easy on the shade. I would even suggest putting down like a white base, because it's more of a topper really than an actual like shade. It doesn't come out white like it is in the pan, you know. It's just more of that like sheen iridescence, but it is very beautiful. It even has like purple in it. It is so nice. I love it so much. Oh, I just got it on my eye bag. That's fine. Now I'm going in with one of my favorite shades of this palette, and I honestly wish I could have used it a little bit more in this look, and it's the shade Jolly. It's a matte red with a golden sparkle. It's even got a little bit of pink in there. It is such a pretty color. I almost wish it just had like a matte counterpart to go with it, because I really would have just loved this like deep red, almost cranberry shade just as a matte color to like put throughout my whole crease. I did envision this being more of a red look, but I'm not mad at the kind of cranberry tone because it's very festive anyway. But anyway, let's go in with the shade. The sparkles do transfer to the lid, but not a lot, so you don't get it as intense as it is in the actual pan itself. Like, it's so gorgeous. But I'm gonna dot this on the inner and outer corners, just over the brandy shade first of all, and then I'm gonna start feathering it in towards the center of the eye and start creating a gradient with this. Alexa, play Just Like Magic by Ariana Grande. I don't wanna waste your time on some dumb shit. Now I went in with the shade Elf, but in all honesty it kind of got all covered up in the end anyway, but I'm gonna just copy what I did on this eye, and I'm gonna go over top of the gradient that we've started with the Jolly shade. I just wanted to add this to start merging it into the metallics, even though I could have probably stopped, but I didn't. I'm just gonna go over it with the Snowball shade because that's what I did on this eye. Oh gosh, see how crumbly that is? Again, beautiful shade, but if you pick up too much, it just crumbles. And I'm not pushing my brush in hard, by the way. I'm just literally kind of patting the shadow. But yeah, I am getting quite a bit of fallout with the shade. Alright, then I went in with the shade Sprinkles, which is so crumbly. See what just happened? It just flaked up. And look at the Snowball shade. It's just getting everywhere. I mean, they are super duper creamy, but they're just pressed really softly. So they're just a little bit messy, you know? I'm just gonna tap this Sprinkle shade on the inner and outer corner again to continue the gradient that we've got going on. I just wanted a little bit more purple, so that's why I went in with this shade. And then I'm just gonna go in with the excess on the brush with the Snowball shade, and I'm just gonna pat over that to blend it all together. Just to finish this up, I'm just gonna re-intensify the Jolly shade, just because I really like that shade and I wanna make sure I haven't lost it. So I'm just gonna tap over it a little bit more, and I'm just gonna do the same with Brandy as well to make sure the depth is still there. And as you can see, I'm doing more of like a tapping motion to do this so the product stays in one place and it's just more controllable. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the actual lid shade. I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows, my base and everything like that off camera, and then we'll come back and we'll finish up the eyes together. I'll see you guys in a sec. Alright, so I've done one eye. As you can see, I really like the way it's turned out, and obviously I've done my base, so let's finish up this eye together. So I first off went in with the shade Brandy on the outer third of the eye, and then I used any excess to bring it throughout the lower lash line and brought it closer into the inner corner. I'm making sure to continue the round shape by joining up the shadow on the outer corner. Then I'm taking the shade Bow on a fluffier brush and I'm just dusting around the edges and just blending the colour out. Okay, now I've done that, I'm gonna add a liner. I used this one by NYX, which is the one with the stupidly long name again. The Slide On, Glide On, Stay On, and definitely a Turn On Waterproof Extreme Shine Eyeliner. And this is in the shade Jewel. My hand's a mess because I've just been doing like swatching and stuff, but this is the colour. It's just like a metallic plummy purple. It's very pretty, and I'm just gonna apply this to my waterline. Now that I've put that down, I'm just going back in with the Brandy shade, and I'm just gonna go over the edges to make sure it's all blended into the liner. That does mean I end up bringing it further over, but it does kind of smoke it out, and that's kind of what I wanted for this look. So I'm just going in with Bow again and just blending those edges. So for the inner corner, I kind of wanted to bring in a little bit of warmth. Obviously we've got the warm color going through the crease and everything, so I thought it'd be okay to add this in, even though we've got a very cool tone color on the actual lid. So I'm going in with the shade Cider, which is a beautiful like, ray of sunshine kind of shade. It's so beautiful. Again, very crumbly in the pan. So I'm going to foil this with some setting spray again, and I'm gonna actually place quite a lot of this. I bring it quite far down on my lower lash line just to open up that area, because this look for me is kind of smoky. It's not that deep and dark, but I just like to have a light inner corner. So I'm gonna take this shade first of all. This is probably one of my favorite like neutral shades from this palette. It is stunning. I'm taking this mainly on the inner third, but I am kind of dragging it around halfway in the like eye bag area just to taper it off a little. And then just because obviously this is a little bit dark, it reflects light nicely, but it is a little dark for my skin tone for like a highlight. So I went in with my face highlight, which is the XXREVOLUTION highlighter in the shade Echo, and I've just taken it on kind of like a big pencil brush, and I just go around the edges and just diffuse, just so it blends in more seamlessly with my actual skin tone and it doesn't just look like a hunk of colour there. And now I'm gonna curl my lashes. I can't really remember the last time I decided to curl my lashes. In all honesty, I've never really bothered. Probably because I had a really crappy eyelash curler. This one from Doll Beauty really has changed up my lash game. It curls them so well. Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna add some liner because I forgot I added liner for my lashes. This is the Master Precise High Precision Liquid Eyeliner in 01 Velvet Black by Max Factor. And I'm just gonna put a very thin line just for where I put my eyelashes. Now I'm gonna curl my lashes and apply some mascara. The mascara I'm using is by Revolution. It's the Precious Glamour. I think that was the collection. It's the butterfly one. Quick update on this. I actually have been continuing to use it and I do actually quite like it. It's still not my like favorite one, but it adds a lot of length and it's quite black, so I've been using this more on like days where I just wear eyebrow stuff, a little bit of mascara, maybe some concealer, like that kind of day. But it is very nice on the lashes. The lashes, I'm actually really impressed with these, so I just wanted to share them with you. They're by Eyeshadow and they're a collaboration with Nicole Guerrero. I picked these up in TK Maxx for $2.99. They are so nice, almost like foam ink and three-dimensional, and they are so good for smaller eye shapes. They're very wispy and full, but they don't take over my eye. They are like one of my new favorite. They're not the easiest band to work with. It's got quite a thick black band, but on the actual eye, I really like these. But yeah, this is what they look like. Can you see? They're like three-dimensional. They're so cool. I really like them. I want to see if I could pick up some more pairs because these are like almost a perfect shape lash for me. But yeah, I'm gonna quickly go throw these on and I'll be right back. Alright you guys, so that is it for the eyeballs. I'm gonna go ahead and do something with my hair. Put on a lip, which I haven't quite decided what I'm gonna wear yet, but I kind of want to go vampy with this. We shall see. First of all, I'm gonna have food though because I'm starving. But yeah, I'll see you guys in a second. Okay guys, so here is the finished look. I curled my hair, which I have not done like properly in a while, but I felt kind of glam in this makeup, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go the full hog. I'm gonna glam my hair, I'm gonna put some velvet on. Yes, I am wearing a top, but it's down here so you can't see properly, but I feel very glamorous. I feel very Christmassy and festive. But yeah, this is the finished makeup. I've actually had these eyes on for like a few hours now, so there's a little bit of transfer of the shimmer like throughout my crease and stuff because of my lid shape, but I don't mind. It's really pretty. That lid is just like a beam of light. I close my eyes and it's just like boom. My thoughts on the actual palette in itself, I think it's pretty. You've got some really pretty shimmers in here and the mattes work really well. The only downside is the shimmers are quite crumbly, as you guys saw, but it's one of those things where I think you pay for what you get because this is a relevantly cheap palette, although the pan size is teeny tiny, so I don't know. It's up to you if you wanted to buy this. I don't think you're going to be too disappointed. Maybe in the size, but the actual formulation and everything like that, I don't think it's too much of a bother. Again, the mattes work like a dream. It's literally just the shimmers I had a little bit of trouble with, but it's just simply because of the crumbliness of them. I definitely want to try this some more though. I really want to use the shade Slay all over the lid, and also Angel is a really pretty color, and obviously the Jolly shade is just my favorite. I'd love to just whack that all over the lid and it would be so pretty. But yeah, I think it's a cute palette and I'm definitely going to wear it again. I think it's a good festive one. Just to mention, on my lips I use the Revolution and Touch lip liner and then the NYX soft matte lip cream in the shade Copenhagen. But yeah, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You getting into the festive spirit yet? I hope you guys are. I hope you're feeling a little bit more jolly. This year has not been the best, so I hope Christmas brings a little bit of light to your life, you know? It certainly does for me. I'm gonna now love you and leave you. If you're new, please don't forget to subscribe. All you need to do is hit the red button down below and the little bell button, and that'll just notify you when I upload next, which is mostly every Friday with maybe a few other videos sprinkled in here and there. But yeah, I'm gonna now love you and leave you. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and I hope to catch you on the next one. Until then, bye guys.